have this feeling every time we choose.
Welcome everyone to Uzi Mumbai, the hub of everything Mumbai City FC. Well, we've been gone for quite a while. It's apologies for that or not, I don't care. But more importantly than that, I think it's time to start discussing Mumbai City FC again. We've been quiet for some time, right, Shlok?
Yes,
Yeah.
we got bored
You
and
got
now we decided to do something about it.
Yeah, we finally have something to actually report as well, So in case the title isn't clear enough, we're going to be going over. We don't know what the title is, so I'm sorry if that's the foreshadowing's pretty shit. So today we'll be looking at this Twitter thread, that Marcus Magulao, I hope I got that right, has put out for Mumbai City FC. There's quite a bit of news here that we want to break down and give our slight opinions on, but more importantly, it's an interesting read, and we just want to take give our take on it. So Shlok, why don't let's
Let's talk about who Marcus Sir is first,
yeah,
so that our viewers know.
yeah, if you guys don't know who Marcus is, you really should be following him on Twitter. He's one of the most reliable news reporters in the country, which is quite a rarity. He's Fabrizio Romano of India, which there's no argument about that. It's because of how regular he's on social media, but moreover than that, how accurate and unbiased most of his news are. Obviously, he has slight bias for Goa, but that's quite obvious. He is from Goa. He writes for Times
We're
of
not
India.
biased, okay?
We're not biased.
We're not biased at all.
Yeah, it's just Uzi Mumbai. It has Mumbai in its name, but we aren't biased.
Yeah.
He writes for Times of India, and he's also a stalwart of Indian football. So why don't we break this down now? So Shlok, why don't you go ahead?
Alright, so first tweet of the thread, I'm gonna read it out and it's gonna be on your screen. Given the resources and influence that the City Group has, Mumbai City should have a squad that should challenge for the top honours in the ISL. The signing of foreign players in particular is being watched with keen interest. Now, first things first, let's talk about what are these resources or influences that Marcus Sir is talking about. Evidently, it's going to be money, international reach, and just the weight CFG carries, right? Which
Yeah.
player wouldn't want to be part of the network? You're talking, your next Indian starlet who is part of the CFG system is potentially connecting themselves to China, to England, to Uruguay, Japan, Australia, and USA. So that's a lot of countries in themselves. So who wouldn't want that? And as we all know, the club will be getting a great academy soon as well, and that has been the case with a lot of CFG clubs. They've done that in New York City, they've done that in Melbourne, they've done that obviously in Manchester.
Yeah.
Montevideo is going to get one soon for Club Talk.
Yeah.
And let's get to the last line of the thread, which is the signing of foreign players in particular is being watched with keen interest. Now, what exactly does this mean? This line is very informative in itself, even though it is a very small line. Right? The club is known to be in the race with Hyderabad FC and Bengaluru FC for some foreign signings, and we'll talk about them soon. But I don't think we're going to go for our attacking mid and our centre-back signings yet, because as we all know, European leagues haven't really finished yet, especially the second divisions, which have more than 40 games. And player contracts also tend to finish towards the end of July or the start of August. So I think the club is going to enter the transfer market fully in around August.
Yeah, it makes sense. Obviously, if you want to, make an impact as a first season for CFG, you want to do it with a bang. And I think having everything done properly is more important than having everything done early. So I think it's just a little more patience that the fans should have with the club, because we'll have done things properly. So let's look at the second tweet of the thread now. Mumbai already have deals in place for FC Goa duo of Motada Fall and Amajahu. They attended an introductory online session with coach Sergio Lobera, knowing Sergio is penchant for players who he already worked with in the past. He may still have something up his sleeve. Now, this is a very interesting point. He also mentions in his tweet that Lobera is on a 2+1 contract, which is a little contrary to what was previously reported, that he's just on a 2-year contract. What the plus one is still unclear. So you look at current Mumbai's players who have been picked up from Goa. Lobera has absolutely cherry picked them himself. The last sentence of the tweet suggests that other Goa players might want to join, or maybe on the way to joining Mumbai in the near future. But with most of the key players of Sheraton, Brandon, and Bumu, and even Pena, who already, not Pena, Bedia, who already, what do you call it? Who are already staying put. Koro seems more. Sorry about that. They've already stayed. They've already, it doesn't matter. Koro seems the most likely to be the person who's going to be coming on. He's already been very critical of FC Goa and how he doesn't feel, he doesn't feel appreciated enough there. He's got a great reputation, and despite his age and salary, I think he would make a good signing. It could also mean a player from abroad. Now, most people have been looking at this from, a former FC Goa player, but he's managed a lot of other clubs before, especially in Morocco. That's where he got, Fall and Jahu from. Lobera is known for bringing in former players, and they were together at I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Maghreb Tetuan. Lobera has also managed Las Palmas, who are in the second division of Spanish second division right now. So Marcus had previously stated that Mumbai could get a class player from Spain. So that could be what he was, indicating earlier.
Yeah, and apart from Lobera players as well, there have been some links, and this is what the next tweet talks about. Bartok Beche is among the leading names that is shortlisted for the striker's job. He isn't alone. Another striker who scored on debut in the Premier League and consistently scored in a top Asian league was actively chased till last week. Now, as we know, Bartok Beche has never played under Lobera, but he is a proven name in India.
Yeah.
He was great with Northeast under Elko Shatori. He was great at Kerala Blasters again under Elko Shatori. And he got, I think, 15 goals, if I'm not wrong. Quite a few of them being penalties, but I think for a team that didn't have as many creative outlets as Goa or like a classic Lobera team, he's going to be scoring way more than he did earlier.
Yeah.
Coming to the other striker, it's expected to be Adam Lefondre, who is also being pursued by Hyderabad and BFC, as I'd said earlier. Now, recently, Marcus Sir had said that all three clubs seem fairly confident of getting his signature. We feel that Mumbai, given its financial resources and geographical location, with mega city and everything, there could be more of a pull here. But there's BFC. They've got a great reputation in India. Hyderabad FC, new club, don't really know what to expect from them in terms of finances. So this one's a bit in the air about things.
Yeah.
And one thing that's actually interesting here is when we look at Ogbeche, he was set to stay with Kerala, but just like Tiri, he's ended up leaving because they've asked him to take a pay cut. So I think we could see this pattern again and again, maybe with domestic signings, where they would seem loyal to clubs, but then because of financial problems, they would want to join us because I think we are more stable in that sense.
Yeah. So, getting on to the fourth tweet now. It is no secret that Mumbai want an experienced striker. Should for some reason a deal for one of the first two shortlisted strikers fall through, don't be surprised if someone lands up here on loan, signing from a city club elsewhere and arriving here. So far, there hasn't been any CSG striker coming in, the news of any CSG striker coming in apart from Jonathan Soriano, who for me still remains the top of my list of players who I'd want at Mumbai City. His arrival depends on Girona's bid for promotion, which they aren't too far away from. If they do get promoted, his contract will be extended for a year due to the clause in his contract. If not, he might be very likely on his way to Mumbai. Apart from him, there has been no real news about any CFG striker. When it comes to experience, there is a trend that we're noticing here. We've been linked with Miku, Koro, and Ogbeche, who are all over 30 and who are all proven stars in the Indian football circuit. So there could be a certain chord or certain balance that Lobera is trying to strike here, regards of experience in India and quality. Now, obviously, he'd want quality first. and that's why we've been linked with Soriano and Lafondra, who are excellent players. But for some reason, and even Ogbeche, but for some reason, if we can't get them, then obviously Miku and Koro would be very good bets, and I think they make for very good signings for Mumbai as well.
What I really like here is the blend that we are going in with, right? We've got some new players coming in the form of domestic signings, but we're also getting, experienced players with Goa's system. We've got, Fall, Jahu, and then possibly Koro, but at the same time, we're getting experience in the sense of Bartok Beche.
Yeah.
So it's very clear that there is an element of immediate success with this squad. You can see that he is going for the title. He wants the cup, and he got the shield last year, and now he wants the ISL trophy by winning the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it looks great to me, because it's not going to be like the whole squad is disjointed when they come through because they've never played with each other. No, there's going to be a very strong backbone.
Yeah, that's very important for this Lobera side as well.
Yeah. Speaking of backbone and strength, we go to tweet number 5, which is the domestic players. He says, "It is the domestic players that may need strengthening. Of course, the likes of Amrinder, Raulin, Farooq, Manda, Rainier are all good, but I suppose they will need a few more. That explains why the club is still scouting." Now, one player I think is not in this list is Mohammad Rakib, and he is a fantastic signing who's gone under the radar.
Yeah.
One of the best right backs in the nation, according to me, because he is so good at passing, he is so good at defending.
Yeah.
And he fits the bill for developmental player as well. So, that rule about how you're supposed to have, I think, 2 in your matchday squad. Well, we've already got 1 in our starting 11, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've got the better part of the deal here, because earlier we were talking about another Kerala fullback in Lal Rotara.
Yeah.
But we've got Rakib, who's great. But again, coming back to Marcus Sir's point, which is we will need a few more Indian players. I think we could do with some depth in the centre back positions when it comes to an Indian centre back.
Yeah.
We haven't really hit that elite Indian centre back connection. No offense to any centre backs we have, but I don't think they're quite at that level. Mostly because they're still very young. We've got Mehta, Balpuria, and Sarthak Golu here all under 23, 24. Yeah. So, if in the 21-22 season, it is going to come, the 3+1 rule is going to come, and if we decide to say, okay, we're going to have 1 foreign centre back and 1 Indian centre back, then we'll need a world-class centre back there.
Yeah.
Now, this one, there is a bit of a grey area in the attacking formation. So we might get a winger or a centre attacking mid, a great one, like an Indian one. But it depends on where Rainier is going to play.
Yeah.
Whether he's going to start on the wings or whether he's going to be a number 10. I would want to see Asif Khan, but unfortunately I haven't seen much of his play, and I'm not sure how many chances he's going to get straight away in the squad. There's other questions about whether Bidya Ananda Singh is going to extend and play in the double pivot, and I really like him, but I think he would want some more game time, and I don't think Raulin and Jahu are going to give as much time to him because they are fantastic players at this point. And maybe, we might need another left back later on to replace Mandar. Tondonba is 25, and I'm thinking more of like an 18-19-year-old who's going to spend 2-3 years learning, and then he's going to be a mainstay.
Yeah, and I think that brings us to the next tweet, which is pretty pertinent to Tondamba. Marcus's tweet says, "Feeling bad for one player who recently joined them. Should he have a new offer, he will be allowed to leave. He seemed to have landed at Mumbai before Sergio was confirmed as coach. Another player who didn't play much last season is facing the same predicament." Now, we had a little chat about this a couple of days ago as this. What we feel, it's either going to be one of Tondamba Singh or Mehtab Singh. And the reason for our, why we think this is, related to the player who signed before Sergio was confirmed as a coach. Why we think this is going to be the case is because they were one of the first few signings who were announced earlier on to the season, because, it's not a uncommon trend that a lot of these Indian players, they sign pre-contracts before the previous season is even over. And then the next year they join as a new signing. We saw something similar happen with I think Roland Borges as well. So now
Vincent Goyan.
and Goyan as well, but I think that's a whole different video.
Yeah.
Maybe not. We'll ask Anuj. But we think it's going to be Tondamba, Mehtab Singh. A couple of reasons why. Arguments for both. Tondamba Singh is meant to be backup, and he did sign before Sergio Lobera was announced as a coach. And for Mehtab Singh, the argument is that he would want to be playing regularly, coming off of a very good East Bengal season for him, but not as for the team. He did play regularly in East Bengal, and he'd want to continue the same trend in India, in Mumbai. Sorry, if he isn't allowed that, or if he cannot be promised that, he could be the player leaving. And Tondamba Singh, why? Because I think Lobera might want his kind of left back as an option and not Tondamba. Tondamba didn't start a lot for Chennai last season either, which makes us believe maybe he'd be happy playing second fiddle in Mumbai as well. And that's why the argument may lean a bit towards Mehtab Singh, but that's something we'll have to look out for. But for us, it's these two players. Yeah.
At the same time, I think Mehtab would also want to get into a great academy or great coaching at such an early age. He's, I think, 21 if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And in these developmental years, imagine you're coming from one of the best training facilities in India, and then 2 years later you're 23. You've got how to play possession football. You're an
Yeah.
Indian centre back. You're hot property.
Yeah. So again, two arguments that could be looked at, and you could say, yeah, okay, maybe this is happening, or maybe that's happening. So we'll just have to look out for this. Now, the second part of the tweet, another player who didn't play as much as last season is facing the same predicament. We feel it's going to be either Pranjal or Valpuya. Now, our arguments for both, again, stay very similar. Valpuya did come in not as a developmental player, but he was meant to be one for the future, and we did do a video about it as well. Pranjal has been a player who's been with us for quite a few years now. He apparently was promised that he'd be given a little bit more of a breakthrough season this year, but if I'm not wrong, he played less in the 19-20 season than he did in the 18-19 season, which makes us believe obviously he'd want to play more, even if he was promised more playing time now, with the likes of Vikram Pratap Singh and Farooq coming in, who are players exactly in Pranjal's position. I think his chances of playing have become very, very slim, and he might want to leave. Again, the same argument that we have with Mehtab is with Valpuya, that as an elite upcoming young centre back playing in an elite academy and associated to CFG, you might want to stay and hope that this is the best place for you to develop, playing with the best facilities and the best everything.
Yeah, we're just spoiled for choice here, I guess, and that's fantastic actually.
Something
than
we
having
lacked
nothing.
a lot. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the final tweet, which is, I don't think it's a part of the thread, this one. He says, I'm looking at Mumbai City with big interest. Their 11 should be like this. So at goalkeeper, we have Amrinder.
Yeah.
Right back, Rakib. Centre back, Fall. The other centre back's going to be a foreigner. Left back's Mandar.
Yeah.
Then if there's a double pivot with Rowlin and Jahu. Then, this is the interesting part. We have our wingers / attacking mids. So there's Rainier on the right, foreigner in the middle, and Farooq on the left. And up top, there's a top striker who's tried and tested. Now, actually, this was a tweet that he had put out before the thread.
Yeah.
And I think we got something right here when we said Rainier's going to be playing on the wings, trying to emulate Brandon. But we didn't expect him to be on the right wing, which is generally the more defensive side. I mean, I won't say defensive, but wider side for Lobera. We've seen Brandon penetrate from the left and Mandar overlap. So we would expect Rainier to be on the left and Farooq on the right.
Yeah.
But another thing which is not mentioned in this tweet, and actually not mentioned in other tweets as well, it's about Machado.
Yeah.
He has a year left, but I don't think he's going to be very close to the starting lineup right now. And he would want to play for Mumbai, but the club might be looking at other options, and he's been linked to the Portuguese second division.
Yeah.
So, Samar, what do you think? Do you think we should retain him, or do you think we should keep it to business and go for like a better attacking mid?
I think if you're looking at backups currently in all the players who are playing in ISL and I League, there are not many better than Machado. he is an elite player. He's a fantastic player. All the, attributes, all the experience, and all the class that he has. For backup, I would really want to keep him, but CFG might want to have all 7 slots for them, all 7 slots of players that they feel comfortable with. And I think in the end it's up to Lubera, that if he sees value in Machado, he'd definitely want to keep him. But if he doesn't, I don't think he'll think twice before putting him on the transfer list.
Yeah, that's certainly there.
Mixed bag, that's what it is right now.
Yeah, mixed bag. Yeah, he's definitely got the quality. It's just about, there's also the fact that he did get injured last season, and I think he's 34 right now. So will he be able to consistently give a performance? That's the question. Yeah.
So I think that's it for the video. We hopefully start uploading a bit more soon. We do have a couple of videos planned for a similar topic. And I think that's it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.